Let's record. All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Georgetown Select Board meeting of January 27. It's 6:02. We're going to open the meeting and call it to order. And we are, let's see, I think that we can go ahead and see if there's any public comment to start with, please.
Let me add Meg, so
Okay. It's a thin crowd tonight. All right, well, it looks like there's no public comment on Zoom, and let me ask our guests in the room, Mike Farina or Elaine Pinkham. Thanks for joining us. You must have something to say. No. Okay, they're both looking at me with a hairy eyeball, so no, that's a hard no. That's a hard no. All right, are there any items to be added to the agenda?
No,
Madam.
I think.
no
Yes.
items to be added, but I will bring up a piece of correspondence that I omitted on this agenda in
Yep.
error, and I'll bring that up in my update.
Yeah, no worries. That's fine. It'll be an update. And so there are no items to be added to the agenda. So let us go ahead and recess 2 minutes early to convene a Board of Assessors meeting, which for those of you who are not used to this process, we started doing it a few months ago. When we have assessments, we technically need to handle those, process those as the Board of Assessors. And so that's what we're going to open up now as the Board of Assessors at 6:04. And we have some abatements to address. The first one is 163 Bowman's Landing Road. And Tyler, why don't you walk us through these and what the proposed action items are?
Absolutely. So the first abatement tonight is for 163 Bowman's Landing Road. And the Kinney family owns this parcel, and in effect, their survey and their deed show 5 acres. We in the town, for some reason, for a while now, have had that parcel at 7. We had Bill Van Tynen take a look at this, and we were able to determine that an abatement reduction of $7,700 would be appropriate. It's amazing to think that 2 acres would come across as valued at $7,700. What I would say is, again, and we've seen this in the past, with assessing, you start out with a home site and work your way back to different tiers of rear land. At 7 acres, this parcel would have had 2 acres of rear land, which is a significantly reduced valuation. And so we always pull from the lowest level first, kind of bottom of the cake, working our way up.
Okay.
So,
And that's why that's how the amount of 7,700 is derived.
yes, and that number came from Bill Van Tynen too, so.
Thank you. Okay. Is there a motion related to the 163 Bowman's Landing property?
Yeah, I move to
Grant the abatement in the amount of?
grant the abatement in the amount of $7,700 to 163 Bowman's Landing Road, Kinney.
I'll second that motion. All those in favor?
And before we go to the in favor, would we just friendly amendment mention that that's for the land valuation?
For the land valuation.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'll second that motion as it regards the land valuation as amended.
All those in favor, Aria E? We have to do the roll call still.
Yeah, okay.
And Katie
Already,
Goodwin?
Katie
Yeah.
Goodwin.
Perfect, 2-0. And the next few abatements, I will speak to them all now, but the next step, if we can internally assess and evaluate, this one was a very clear acreage error that we had documentation, deed, survey to fix. Some of these other properties, I think, would involve some more technical analysis from Bill in comparing like properties to like.
Yes,
So at 266 Martown Road, the Sheehan abatement, my recommendation is to send this to the assessing agent for further review. And the remaining abatements under abatements to address tonight, I'll do that, but I can speak a little bit to each of those if there were questions.
okay.
If not, a motion to send it on to Bill Van Tynen for further review is appropriate.
The only thing I would say is that with that first, I think 44 Stevens Lane, there was a big long comment on his abatement and it said see reverse for more,
Okay,
and the other side wasn't scanned through.
I will scan the other side for you, but I will say that,
It goes to Bill Van Tynen anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
and either way, it should head to Bill on these ones.
Okay.
Okay, but you'll send us the back. the
Yes.
back. Thank you.
Curious
Yeah,
what,
yeah, I agree.
what more you had.
When I saw that, yeah, thank you for remembering that.
Yeah,
Okay,
so I move to send these for abatements to the assessing agent.
Okay, and I second the motion to send 266 Martown Road, 44 Stevens Lane, 120 Jewett Road, and no street address.
9R lot 15.
Oh, yeah, 900 lot 15.
Okay.
That's a fun one. All to the assessing agent. All those in favor?
Aria E.
Aria E. and
Katie Goodwin?
Yes.
Perfect, and that is unanimous. I would note that just for what it's worth, abatements awaiting further action. Bill Van Tynen was able to get over to me today, his recommendations on the Jaeger abatement, but there wasn't enough time to coordinate with the property owner to make sure they could be here tonight, so that'll
Okay.
be on our agenda on the 10th.
Okay,
And the pending abatements received to appear on the next agenda. I'm hoping that I'll be able to have done my analysis for 46 Stevens Lane, another Magliozzi property that came in the last couple of days. I would say this abatement application, and I've left a message from Mr. Magliozzi, was missing a couple of pieces that I think we really need to have it properly before us. But I did want to advise that this is out there, and this seems to be the beginning of a year of abatements as well, so.
that's right. Okay,
And with that, if there were no further questions about these assessing items, you could declare the Board of Assessors meeting closed.
I will. And so the Board of Assessors meeting is now closed. We will take up the rest of the assessments at our February 10 meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to return to the select board meeting at 6:09. And let's take it up with our, since we have Elaine Pinkham here, let's go ahead and return to the agenda and start a little bit early. I'm sure she would appreciate that. Elaine, could you come on up, please? Yes, Elaine Pinkham, the school board chair, is here to join us to talk about some money with Mary and yeah, the big bill. All right, so Elaine, thank you for joining us tonight. And I think all of us, well, many of us were at the last school board meeting. So can you just bring us up to speed where, what happened and where we stand now, please? Thank you.
Yeah, so we had New Year's Day had a power outage that involved some wires that had deteriorated that were from the power line to the building, to, you know, this building with the town office and school. And it was underground, so that meant it was not CMP's responsibility, but our responsibility. And so, thankfully we were able to get an electrician down to quickly assess, and yes, that's what you determined, it was underground. So the town office and the school was closed that first day,
That Monday.
back after the holiday. And on that day, we were able to get, Dale Savoy came in and the electrician who dug up where that line was and was able to replace it very quickly. Just incredible how everybody kind of dropped things to make sure that we're really grateful for that. So we got it up, we got done what we needed to, and then waited for the bill. And then when said bill arrived, there was a bill from both from the electrician and then from Dale Savoy, the two totaling about $38,000. And so the question before us became, oh, how do we pay for that?
Meaning
and-
the school board, okay.
Yeah, before the school board
Yeah.
was, right, okay, yep, we've gotta pay for that bill, that's not something that we budgeted or planned for. Thankfully, there's a reserve account that the town sets up. And so we voted at our last school committee meeting to take the money to pay those bills out of our reserve account. And so that's what the board voted for, and we just need the selectmen to give your blessing to do so, to have that bill paid for out of the town reserve account for
Okay.
the building.
Okay, couple of things I want to say. I want to thank Dale Savoy for dropping everything and coming and digging up the frozen ground. We appreciate you, Dale. Kelly Frederick from Frederick Electric, the same thing. Terry Ionta, I never pronounce his name right, but Mr. T, Mr. Terry,
I.
Mr. I, Mr. T, Mr. I, all kept us right up to speed. Elaine, I know you were involved, Principal Miller, probably you, Tyler, and Mary, and maybe several others, but I just want to thank y'all for making this a priority at the end of the holidays, and so to that extent. All right, and so we learned at that meeting, for those who turned in, that, there is no MOU between the town and the school. And so can you address that and what y'all talked about there so that everyone listening,
Yeah,
can be aware of that?
yeah, so, our immediate question was, okay, well, who's responsible for the bill? Because it's a building that's shared both by the town office and by the school. Kind of what the information that we had gotten back from the town office was that the school is responsible for maintaining, the building. And so it would be our responsibility to cover, the building in entirety, or cover the bill in entirety. So that just kind of led to some questions of like, well, what is the agreement? And if, as far as I'm understanding, there isn't anything official, like a memorandum of understanding regarding that. And what traditionally has been done is that the school pays for repairs to the building, and then rent from the school is paid by the town office at a rate of 8% of the heat bill for the year is paid to the school as rent. And so it seemed like that this was a good time to revisit that, since it was not a document anyone can find, and as far as we can tell, was developed probably 30 years ago.
I think Don Callan said the
believe that-
90s, and Mary
Yeah,
said it
yeah.
too. but-
Yeah, that
Okay.
would make, that maybe it's time to reevaluate, how,
And I mean,
how that responsibility is covered.
I would say that the 8% isn't just pulled out of the air. I would say it's more based on square footage.
Yeah,
The square footage of the town office versus the square footage.
sure.
Mhm.
Sure. Have there been, I know a couple of years ago, there was an asbestos repair. Did the town contribute to that?
No,
Or
so
was
that,
that in both areas?
yeah, that was just in the school,
Okay.
In the school office.
Okay, have there
And
been any
so-
repairs that the town has contributed to or that we've shared?
So there was, a roof replacement that was done, I've been digging back through emails, 17, 18, it seems.
2017.
And at that point, again, it's far enough back that I've had central office trying to look, and they're struggling to get information far enough back to know how it was broken down. But I believe that at that point, the town office paid a portion and the school paid a portion. Mary, do you remember?
Do you remember? Yeah, okay, that's what I was gonna ask Mary some
Mhm.
questions too.
Mhm.
Okay. Um,
And the lighting project? Was that?
So the lighting project, was set up. It was when it was presented, it was presented as the school option and a town office option for completion of that. So we moved forward with the school option, and the town office option, that would be something you all could consider. But that is not going to cover anything in the town office, that'll just school.
I'm just asking Tyler to mute somebody so barking dogs can't interfere.
And I just saw Allison Freeman on there,
Oh,
so that
good,
was a
okay,
good
great.
segue.
Great. I'm gonna pause that for a second. I would like to come back to the lighting project and see where we are with that affinity lighting project, to see if we have any ability to get to
Okay.
look at that. Cause I remember that being an issue. Go ahead, Katie, sorry.
75,000 in your reserve fund?
So, yeah, so how that works is, each year at town meeting, $7,500 is voted on as a separate warrant article. And it's actually not considered part of the school budget at all. And the money does not sit in the school checking, but sits in the town checking. So it's something that the town has appropriated $7,500 a year. That's the other thing that we discovered, is like, we believe it's been $7,500 since this was started. And so for there to be $75,000 in there, that means that's 10 years
Right.
worth of appropriations. But we all know that $7,500 today is not what $7,500 was 30
And-
years ago. So,
And we've used that reserve numerous times.
yeah, so it's been
So it's
used,
not-
in the
yeah,
time
so it's
I've
not
been on the
10.
board, it's been used 3 times.
Yeah.
The first time was for the roof. The second time was for the asbestos, and then
Okay.
this is the third time. Those are the only times it's been used since I've been on.
The windows, window.
No, I don't.
Windows.
You think windows? I believe that we did windows
I'm not sure.
out of,
It doesn't matter. I can-
out of the budget,
Yeah,
but,
okay.
yeah, you can look back.
For sure.
Yes, so, yeah, and it, like, with, you know, obviously we're budgeting for, you know, big ticket items that we know about and that we're trying to get done,
Right.
but
Like the
it is,
boiler.
yeah, right, yeah, and that, and like originally, as far as I understand, this was originally put in place as like a boiler replacement plan. And yet with, you know, something like a $40,000 unexpected electric bill, it's just not something the school budget can absorb in our regular maintenance, repairs and maintenance line.
Yeah,
So,
and it is possible that the faulty electric has been messing with other systems.
yeah, yeah, and that's, I don't know that we know a whole lot about that. I
Yeah.
think they're fairly certain the copier was taken out by the faulty electricity, but thankfully that's a lease and so they brought us a new machine and they will get it repaired and get it back to us. So,
The freezer.
but
The
yeah, like
freezer,
that is, yeah, I don't know that we really know,
Right,
you know, with other issues that have come up, if that has been part of other issues.
Other
that have
issues.
been-
yeah, hopefully.
Well, thankfully we
Solve
were.
something.
Yes, so yes, hopefully, yes.
And I just add that immediately after, when we also have been trying to find some of the paperwork on the handshake agreement back in the nineties,
Mhm.
and it's been elusive here at the office.
Yeah,
I know
Okay.
Aria and I have spoken, I know Katie and I have spoken about the need for an MOU as well, so
Yeah.
that's, I think, risen to all of us that,
Yeah,
let's not be in this spot again.
right, exactly, and that's it, that's exactly what it is. You know, I think we all understand the money comes from the same
it's
place.
the same budget.
Yet I'm also fairly, aware of the fact that if that all falls, if the whole building's responsibility falls on the school, that feels like it's inflating the school budget in order to take care of a building that has purposes beyond just, and just wanna be mindful, you know, of like, were there no school, this $40,000 bill would be yours entirely.
Right.
So
It's a shared
just,
space.
yeah, and again, we all understand it's the same people, but,
But yeah, I think getting that conversation started sooner is a good move as well.
yeah.
And I know we've talked a little bit, Aria and I, in the last couple of days, and let me add in Mike, about perhaps this year, when we look at reserve funds as well, that with this sizable of a drop, 7,500 probably isn't gonna cut this year's donation to that. And
Yeah.
donation's not the right
Yeah.
word, but appropriation.
Appropriation, yes, yes.
Yeah, and I mean, even without that, it feels like it's time, you know, after 30 years that it probably, or I'm not sure how long they were reserved. Do you know, Mary,
I
how
don't,
long they're
I'm
reserved?
gonna look into it tomorrow.
Don't, I mean, I sat in and listened on Zoom to the school board meeting, you were there, but I remember Don Cowling, what he had indicated about it, so it's just, I mean, what happened in the nineties is no longer relevant from my perspective, we do have to have something, more formal so that we are not in this spot, it does come out of the same municipal budget. It's a shared space, we're gonna be, I mean, we have countless meetings in this room, thankfully it didn't disrupt operations too badly here.
Yeah.
But we have countless meetings in this space, we use the gym as a town for election and,
Right.
candidates night is coming up, I mean, all of those things would be effective besides the school, so I'm
And,
cognizant of that.
yeah, and the other part of that is that it's entirely school staff that is trying to, you know, like Mr. I, who's, you know, our custodian and facilities manager, who's the one who's dealing with all of these things.
Right,
In that case, which again, you know, is a bill that the school, is paying in its entirety.
Okay.
So just, I'm just wanting to open a conversation and see if we can kind of, you know, move into a new century and
Yes.
and make some, you know, some plans that are, yeah, just a little more fitting for the times and a little more transparent so that, you know, everybody knows what to expect.
And it
Sure.
really moves in the direction that the town has been moving in. I know that we've seen a
Yes.
lot more MOUs between different town committees as well, just to clearly identify
Right. there's no
rights,
question.
responsibilities, and clears things up, so.
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, that was my first question to Tyler when it happened, is what does our MOU say for our responsibility for this portion of the building? So I was surprised to find that there isn't one,
Yeah.
but given how things are, I know, like, in small towns, same on the reservation, there's a lot that happens just on a handshake and an agreement.
well, and thankfully, it's not been an issue.
No,
And that said, there still could be minutes that I have not gotten to yet.
Yes.
The minutes from the nineties are a lot harder to search and find.
microfiche, okay. Mary, is there any questions you have for Elaine or anything you want
No.
to add to this
No,
discussion?
no, no,
Okay.
no, no.
Yeah, that Mary, if you could find like I had Kathleen looking for several days, but she's struggling to get back far enough to find, she could find like an invoice for the roof, but she couldn't find what portion the town had paid.
So, and Kathleen is the finance director for the district that assists the school in their budgeting and in their
And there's been,
financial
you know,
management.
since then, several different people in that role, you
Right.
know, what has made.
Right, yeah, she's new, what, the last.
Well, and she's new and old, well, new and old both, she's
Got it.
back, but she worked for them years ago, so she's like,
Got it.
thankfully I still have access to email from, you know,
I
all
didn't
those
know.
years, but,
Yeah.
Okay, there's a question, I don't know, Elaine, if you're willing to take questions. If you can answer it, great. If not, then you can certainly defer. How much of the facilities maintenance budget has been expended thus far this fiscal year? And how much is projected to have been spent by the end of the year?
so we looked at it, it's kind of a tricky question, because facilities maintenance can cover all of
Right.
custodians, all
Right.
of, any contracted work that's done, falls under facilities maintenance, also is heat, electricity and all of those things, but the line for repairs that we
Right.
put in,
Yes,
I believe, as I was looking at it, this is rough numbers, I believe we had about $50,000 in there, and what is left is about 10.
okay,
And that is for the rest of the year. That's what I recall when we looked at it, a couple of weeks ago. So that, you know, is probably enough to get us through the year, but
Right.
certainly not something
Not
that
big
we
as
can
that.
absorb a bill like
and it
that.
was, and just to recap for those who may have joined us after you initially began talking, what was the exact, vote that your board, enacted in terms of where the payment for this nearly $40,000 bill would be from?
Yeah, so we voted to take that from the, capital reserve account, for the building that sits on the town's books.
Okay.
That's voted for yearly, so we need your vote to officially allow that to happen, it's kind of a double checks and balance,
And had this been something, if we'd known last year during the budget that
Sure.
the wires were fraying,
Right,
if we had in the budget talked about taking reserve funds out, this vote wouldn't be necessary. Similarly to the redecking of the wharf,
yeah, I remember. that.
because that wasn't specifically part of the budget, they had to come to the select board and ask. Because this is a town reserve
Right.
fund too, I think definitely this would happen either way, but for what it's
And you
worth.
keep your budget so tight. It's
Yeah.
not like you can move a little from
Yeah.
here, a little
Yeah.
from there.
Yeah.
This is something that.
and you know, where this may, you know, it might be a different conversation.
Mhm.
But we're certainly not going to hold on our vendors out until, you know,
No.
then to, and again, just for the generosity of our vendors, like typically materials would have to be paid for ahead of time
Right.
before something like this was done, and they just moved on it.
And got us back
And
on.
got us back online very generously, so,
Yeah.
that was my priority number one, and I know Mary's as well, is to make sure that we
Yes.
get our people paid, because we want them to be there the next time.
I think it's all of our priorities. That was a concern of mine. I know Kelly worked his magic to make sure that the pipes didn't freeze.
Yes, and
Because that
that's
was
as
a
well,
concern
yeah,
that
that
night.
unfortunately during that same time, the regular, generator was down for repair, waiting on parts for that, so he had to rewire an old, very small generator to keep pipes from freezing, cause it was very, very cold as well, so.
And
yeah.
digging up wires in May is very different than.
Yes,
frozen wire.
exactly, so,
Right.
yeah,
Okay.
everybody did a lot of work to get it done.
Any more any questions? Any more questions?
Really what you need today is just approval.
Yeah, so what I need today is approval, and then I'd love to see an avenue for working this out further.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is something that, you know, one of us and one of you kind of sit down and hash out some ideas ahead of time, or, you know, how we work through this process, but,
Yeah.
I'm here and we're happy to do.
Yes, I
whatever
think
can.
I think we should do that. I think it makes sense to have our election first, and then
Yeah, have a
yeah,
full board.
have a full board, and then
Come up with a plan.
come up with a plan and get something more formal in writing.
Yeah, so yeah, at this point, we need to get the bill paid and then
Right.
we'll work from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, well, I'll entertain a motion. I can't make a motion as a chair.
Yeah, I move to approve the use of the reserves funds for the electrical repair.
In the amount,
In the-
of the bill, right?
Yeah, of the bill.
38-ish.
I can't remember, I can't believe that I don't have it written
I
down. but
thought, gosh, I thought it was closer
It was
to.
11,000. One was
43.
11,000. Dale's was 11,000, I think, what's his name was
Kelly.
28.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right,
I think it was-
I can pull them up.
Okay.
but-
all right, in the total amount.
Yeah.
Owing,
In the total amount.
I was just gonna say, you have the bills right, that you're looking at one.
I have one, but not the other. I have Savoy, but not Frederick.
okay.
Do you want me to?
No,
Right,
I think
keep
if
digging.
you make the motion
It's a big.
for the total amount owing, we should be okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I move to approve the use of the capital reserve funds for the total amount owed on the electric bill for the school.
Okay, I'll second that. All in favor?
All right, Aria E,
Yes?
Katie Goodwin?
Mhm.
All right, that is 2-0.
And then do you have any other motions related to this? Or you wanna wait till after the
I
election?
think we should wait,
Okay,
yeah,
I just wanted to,
but the
I think we-
intention is there.
the intention is to, yes, for us to sit down and talk with everybody that would be involved in that. Okay. Elaine, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, and
Wow.
the rest of the crew, for working that out on your end and bringing
Got it
us some
done.
information here.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
have a
you.
good evening.
Thanks, you too.
All right, great.
Hey.
Draft abatements, and
That bill.
let's turn to the minutes of
If
December.
you're looking in that packet, Katie, there is a chance that I might have had that two-sider thing happen again, so
Oh, okay,
my apologies.
that's okay.
I thought I had it
All
written
good.
down, but,
I know I
saw
have it
it
written
somewhere.
down, it's just not on this.
I know it was less than 40, but pretty close, so.
right
Like
here.
38 something.
Yeah, okay,
Frederick.
so,
Let's.
um, all right, so in any event, let's turn to the minutes of December 12, please, 16, excuse me.
And I would just flag that the way I did these minutes was a little bit different. Instead of trying to completely summarize all the key points of the presentation by Gert, I appended it to the minutes. So it'll be there with the website, and also directed people to the YouTube, which frankly is the best way to get that data.
Yeah, no, I liked it.
I like that too, yeah.
I saved it. No, I think that's,
It's a great
yes, for sure.
presentation.
All right, and then we have, so I'll
I,
entertain a motion.
yeah, I move to approve the minutes of December 16th, 2025.
Okay, I'll second. All those in favor?
Aria E,
Yes?
Katie Goodwin,
Yes.
unanimous. Thank you.
All right, and, thank you, Tyler, for including that presentation too. So we have correspondence from various entities. You want to run through those for us, please, Tyler?
Yeah, I'll give you the high levels on these. So the Department of the Army has reached out regarding a former defense site in Reed State Park. During World War II, Reed State Park was used as bombing training from some of the bombers that were used in the war. Periodically, the federal government will be going through and doing monitoring and so on through, is there someone
Yeah,
popping in?
but it's.
Hey, the more you know. She was having so much fun, Elaine wanted to
She came
join us
right back.
for this.
Okay.
But effectively, they're notifying us that they're aware of it. There was a very helpful flyer that they included as well. If you see unexploded things, armaments, call, don't touch. And recently in Harpswell, somebody was using one as a doorpost, so I digress.
Wow.
Oh yeah, the realtor said that they had never had to call a bomb squad to a showing, and they did. But now I'm off on a tangent.
Wow.
I wanted to flag as well that dog licensing is due by the 31st of this month. State mandated late fees kick in on February 1st, and whatever the good excuse is, the dog ate your rabies certificate will not count. It's a $25 late fee for a neutered dog. It's $6 for an unneutered dog. It's $12. So the idea of spending almost 5 times the amount for a dog registration, get in early. If you have questions, call Angie. Sheriff's incident report for December, our numbers were a little bit lower, more public service calls in December, I think helping with some deliveries. While we're on that, I just flag as well, we're having the winter storm. The sheriff's department has a great Sand for Seniors program
Oh,
where they
yes,
will
they-
actually if you call the sheriff department non-emergency line and you give them your name, your address, explain that you need some sand, a deputy will actually bring it down from the county to help out some of our seniors in need. So, and they say seniors, but if it's somebody that really needs help, the sheriff's department's gonna step up. There was also an update on the Southern Maine Resilience Collaborative's newsletter. Cash Maine as well is an organization that helps seniors, or not seniors, residents, people in general with things like their taxes, accounting, some other basic needs. Last year, when the senior property tax freeze was repealed, Cash Maine was one of the places that the state was directing folks to help with qualifying for the 2 remaining programs. So some good contact information in there. Great program. Maine Public also had reached out thanking us for our donation last year. It was very great to see Aria and Bromwin last year and John all, that was not an initially recommended donation, but it was very much appreciated. Maine Municipal Association put out their 2 legislative bulletins, and Oasis Free Clinics had announced that their executive director had been retiring, so I just wanted to include a swath of what comes through here at the office. And there were no continuing items.
Okay. Would you like to go with your committee update, please?
Sure, yes, I've had a handful of meetings since mid-December. 2 school board meetings and 4 planning board meetings, which included some short-term rental special meetings. Willa Abel is back on the board in person, which was great to see her at the school committee meeting. She's back from Germany. They're plugging along. It's great to see the director of special services come to the meetings and do reports. That's something that's new. It's really nice to get her input and see what they're up to. They talked about the electrical repair. The lighting is still happening, I think. And then short-term rentals and planning board is all as well.
Okay.
There's lots going on in town.
Chugging along, okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about the planning board in a little bit here when we get to Tyler's update. And I assume that some of your, has the planning board started their budget talks yet?
They haven't,
Board budget's done.
Yeah, it's done?
it's finished.
Okay,
I
okay,
haven't
great.
seen it.
Yeah, it came across my desk as completed, so I assume it's done,
Okay.
you know?
Okay, yeah, so I had a few committee meetings as well. The Shellfish Committee met since our last meeting and had an initial discussion, a very initial discussion about their budget, talked some about feeding and about some concerns really about the clam flats and contamination from some mammal, likely dogs, but Marissa was gonna get back the test results on that. But we obviously want to ensure that folks who are using the beaches, especially down where there's a lot of clamming activity, are ensuring to pick up after their dogs. And it's only, it's only in our best interest and our tourists' best interest to do that. So we're gonna continue to look at that and potentially have a new sign down at the campground, but in collaboration with the campground input. So there's that. And then the rec committee has met again. They meet the first Tuesday of the month, and they are working on Get to Know Your Neighbor and also Georgetown's Next Citizen of the Year. So please, I'm just going to plug that. If you have folks or a person that you believe contributed particularly well or particularly robust to our town for the year of 2025, please consider nominating them and submit your nomination either to Tyler directly or to the Georgetown Rec Committee. The Conservation Committee has met a couple of times, and if you were there to join in the potluck on Saturday, it was cold, but it was fun. And so thank you to all of those who cooked and came and enjoyed each other's company. Let's see, the TOPMB met, when was that? Last week, I guess. Today's Tuesday, so that was last week, would have been last Thursday. And they did some initial work on their budget. And we're going to, I think, be in contact with Julie, but you may have already received something from Mark as well. So, and talked about the old stone schoolhouse and developing a subcommittee, which will be helpful to them to help manage, the work that can be done on the schoolhouse there. I think, let's see, I believe, let me just look at the rest of the committees and see if I've forgotten anybody. The FAC, did not meet today, but they're gonna be meeting on the 10th. So, I'll plan to attend that. And I think that's it for my committees. It's budget season, so thank you for all your hard work.
Fire department.
The fire department,
They're
yes.
working on theirs.
Yeah.
Budget.
And
Okay,
just to jump in, I will gather some better information on lighting for the school components, so we
Yeah.
can circle back on that.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to flag that I've made some good notes.
yeah, Katie knows more because she attends their meetings, but the affinity lighting, I know you and I talked about that initially, and they mentioned it because it's
Right,
building.
so we'll get some more good info and see if that's something we can potentially see what our options are.
Well, we're gonna run out of options soon,
Right,
okay, cause these.
I'm
they're
sorry
not
to laugh,
making
but
them
it
any-
just
No,
made
it's
me
true,
laugh.
it's true,
It's
we're gonna run out of options.
When it
Yeah,
burns
not gonna-
out, it's gonna get dark.
The fluorescents are, right,
Yeah.
I think they're shutting them off,
Yeah.
we're not gonna be able to get replacements for
I
them.
think you
you
get
know?
LED compatible.
Something, yes,
So we need to,
Yeah.
yeah, so,
we need to do something.
move.
okay,
We'll
we need to
on.
move
Yeah.
on that. I know from one of your last reports, maybe 2 times, 3 times ago, the school board had passed the project. But I think we need to know how we get in on that
Right,
project.
Yeah,
And that wasn't clear to me the one meeting I sat in on.
it wasn't clear to me either, and I think that
But I didn't
Jen
wanna interrupt.
corrected me
Okay.
during that meeting when I think I misspoke. So I can talk to the school board.
and
Yeah.
I do have a preliminary, very early report as well from a
Yeah.
while back that
Yeah.
we can
Okay,
dive in, make some contacts, cause now's the time really to be talking about it.
yeah, we should do the whole building at once.
Bingo.
And it would be nice information to have too, as far as the MOU goes. It's just another kind of
Yeah,
financial comparison, 2 different numbers.
And it helps move us in the direction of our energy audit too in different
Right.
ways.
yes,
That was one of
That's
the
a good point.
recommendations from the
Oh.
energy auditors to.
Yeah, that's
take
right.
care of these.
that's right, okay. All right, all good stuff to keep in mind. Tyler, you're up.
So.
Town administrator update.
So the first thing I wanted to share was just and I know I speak for all of us, a huge thank you to the team that braved the cold on Saturday at the transfer station.
Yes, thank you, yes.
I also wanted to flag that the piece of correspondence that I failed to put on the agenda was Bob Arledge has resigned from the planning board. A huge thank you for Bob's service for many years on behalf of the town. And our plan is to have that on the next agenda for possible next action, so
Okay,
on 210. I
and we
also,
have 2 alternates for that,
yes,
David Trigg and Rufus Brown.
yes.
Okay, thank you, go ahead.
I also wanted to flag that on our agenda, I've made an update to the upcoming meetings portion. I've added asterisks will appear next to some hybrid meetings. That asterisk indicates that the person should request a link and that it will not automatically be sent out.
Thank you.
Some of our committees, now that we have Zoom, are definitely able to move forward into the 21st century and let folks participate remotely. That said, not every committee has a link that goes out. Some of them are very much in person, but we in the office will make things more accommodating to make sure we can get folks to be able to participate that way. So in case anyone wondered why there was a change, I just wanted to flag that we're trying to move ourselves into a much more user-friendly direction.
Yes.
It looks like it's only the fire department that's in person. Everyone else is either hybrid.
Shellfish is in person.
Okay.
Right.
And
Right.
Not
TOPMB,
everyone.
And TOPMB is one of those where we have created links when requested, so if I hear vociferous pushback from committee saying, please don't classify me that way, we'll recross that bridge, but I just really wanted to flag for folks, if you want to attend, resident or liaison, let us know and we'll find ways to try and be accommodating.
right,
Okay.
Also, I wanted to give some good voting information. If any questions on this, please contact the town clerk. But I wanted to share that voting information is now underway at the town office. We have posted on town office entrances that this is now a polling place, so
right.
if anybody is waiting in the hallway and wanting to talk about how they're gonna vote for selectmen, please move 250 feet in any direction away from the town office, but it can't happen here while that's going on. Absentee voting will take place at town office until The 12th, the Thursday before the election, there still are some special circumstances where somebody could get an absentee ballot after that. We'll share that information when it's more current, because right now, anybody that's a voter can come in and vote early absentee by mail.
Can I ask
yes.
a quick question? Remember the issue with somebody who might need help because they may not be able to hear or see
Yes.
well enough, and so Angie did Angie ever hear back from
We
that person?
were able to close the loop that we
Thank you.
do not need for this election to have that voting machine set up, which is saving the town some costs,
Right.
and that we can have folks assist in that kind of capacity.
Great, thank you.
You
There,
rent it?
Yeah, we have to,
but
The machine?
we have the machine, but there's special memory sticks that have to be coded to be able to process ballot tabulation. That's part of the reason we also went the route of a hand count election this time.
Yeah.
I know in other towns that I've worked for when I was a town clerk, sometimes turnout is so great that not all ballots can be scanned. There are other methods on how voting needs to take place. So it's a great learning curve as well to be able to practice a hand count on a one question kind of election. But anybody that wants to vote will be able to vote. And if anyone needs assistance, there are ways that folks can do that.
we'll talk about voting hours or polling hours in a little bit.
Right.
We need to decide that.
But I did want to note that folks, if you wanted to request an absentee ballot, you can do that by phone, in person, mail. An immediate family member could request your ballot for you if they were coming to the town office to register their car, et cetera, et cetera. And if you have any questions, again, give Angie a call, 371-2820.
Okay.
Cemetery maintenance responsibilities. Today, we received word that there is a cemetery on Flying Point Preserve. I've learned a long time ago that when folks say the law says you shall do this, there are words in there like may that change things. So I will be diving in a heck of a lot more on what our town responsibilities are. I would say that in Georgetown, there are over 99 cemeteries on different pieces of property. And so it is one of those big unfunded things out there that in this instance, again, I've also spoken with cemetery trustees today to make them aware that this conversation, once we have more information, will be fleshed out.
Yeah, okay, they're gonna have to have more often meetings.
Bingo.
Cemetery.
Yeah, they're gonna need 3.
And very, very lastly, the conference room is not gonna be available on the 4th or the 5th because Angie will be taking some municipal election classes that day, and we're gonna do that here. And at our next meeting on the 10th, Bill Van Tynen has agreed to meet with us to talk about some next steps. I figure with that shorter meeting, that might be a better time to get him in and have a good candid conversation. So
Yeah.
Bill is definitely gonna be available on the 10th.
And that is for those of you who might need a refresher, that is our assessing agent.
Is there a conflict with the planning board meeting on Wednesday, the 4th? Or does she just need this room during the day?
During the day,
Yeah.
not in the evening.
Okay.
We're not gonna, I guess we shouldn't make Angie work at 7.
Hey,
I didn't know if she was just gonna take over.
Oh, yeah, no,
Spread out
right,
all the
spread out,
stuff.
leave
Good
it.
right out, that's right, true.
hey,
Exactly.
no, not by 7. We will,
Okay.
it's more, and it's really more the mornings, but we found with clerk training, sometimes they linger on past, so
Sure.
for what that's worth.
Okay.
And that is the end of my very long report.
Okay, I just wanna do a reminder, oh, is it on here when, candidates night? Oh, yeah, there we are, okay, yep. And, cause you were just talking about the election, so we've got the candidates night, just remember, we have our, the 2 candidates for the select board election are, Jeff Birdsall and Kathy Gravino. And so those are the 2 folks that you'll be voting on. And in a little bit, we'll talk about, like I said, the polling hours and candidates night. And anything else that has to do with the election. All right. Mary,
I'm up.
we're ready for you,
Okay.
please.
Since the last meeting, obviously you got your December financials.
Yes.
Everybody got their December financials. If there's
Thank
any
you.
questions at all, please holler. Pretty much I looked at it, we're pretty much where I'd expected us to be. At the end of December, we had collected $2 million in taxes. That has been distributed out. Northeast Bank's got some, Ambrose got some, Bass Savings got some, and I continue to watch that and move those monies out. We're talking budget, so the Finance Advisory Committee would like the select board handles salaries and things like that for budget.
Right.
So they are looking to you to give them guidance on whether or not you're doing a COLA or any other changes. COLA this year is 3.8.
Right.
Don't know if that's what we wanna go with or not. And then mileage, the mileage rate has gone up to 72.5 cents, we're
Yeah.
at 67 right now, whether or not you guys, so just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. I don't need to have an answer now, but we'll need.
Well, I
we
plan to
need an
attend
answer.
that meeting on
On
the
the
10th.
10th?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna attend today,
Yeah.
but I learned
Yeah.
that it was, postponed, which is,
Yeah.
so I'll be down the 10th.
Yeah.
Katie,
Maybe
if
I'll
you,
go too.
I was just gonna say, if you,
Yeah.
so we can post that Katie and I will be there.
Yeah,
I think that's important because we're both really connected to the FAC. I think it's important, for us to both be involved and frankly, that's good.
You can make it to a 1 PM meeting? on a Tuesday?
Yes, I worked it out today that I could, and so I will work out again that day that I can.
Okay,
W-2s and 1099s have both gone out. I did have some troubles with the W-2s getting them lined up, so I wound up having to do it on blank paper, which is, I've never had to do before.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you run those through QuickBooks or your
Oh, yeah.
accounting software?
yeah,
and it
through
just, yes.
QuickBooks.
And sometimes it does, I
I
agree with
could
you.
not, I ordered the pre-printed ones, which is what I've always used forever. And I spent, I don't know,
More
a
time
few
than-
hours trying to get bloody thing to line up. If I get it on the bottom, I couldn't get it on the top. I get it on the top, it was just,
that's.
I don't like
bizarre.
when QuickBooks
yeah.
goes rogue, yeah.
Yeah, so I wound up having to order, additional.
Oh, yeah.
Because the
Right.
IRS
Not
requires
You have to, I
preparation,
know,
you
you
know,
have to.
so, anyway.
Yeah,
And then,
We don't wanna mess with that, so.
right,
You order what
Yeah.
you need.
exactly. And then upcoming, in February for us is, February is the time in which we send out, 30 to 45 day notices to let folks know that
Yeah.
their accounts are going to foreclosure. We have 8 accounts. I don't expect that those 8 accounts will go to foreclosure. But that's gonna happen about middle of the month, I think, is when,
Well, I hope,
I can begin to send out those notices,
Yeah.
so.
okay.
I did make a call today to one of them because it's very, very unusual. And ideally, that money will be here by Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah, and I
Thank you,
think that
ma'am.
was about it.
Do you have, Tyler, did you wanna jump in before we have any questions?
When Mary's done, I realized there was one thing I did want to update the board on too.
I'm
so
sorry, your time is up.
That is okay.
No time for you, no, I think that's it.
That's right, do you have any
Yep.
questions for Mary?
I don't know.
Okay.
I have a number for the electric bill though.
Oh, great, please, let's go back to it.
Can we?
Yes, what is
Should
the
we?
number? Yeah, let's just, let's nail that down,
I'm
people wanna
going
know.
off the principal's report, not the
Yep,
invoices,
that's
so
fine.
I'm a little
That's fine.
hesitant,
That was
okay.
good.
37,668.39 cents.
37,668.39 for electric, and Dale's was 11 something, right?
That's total, 37,668.
Oh, okay, the total amount, okay, all right. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Uh-huh.
And Tyler, let's
And-
go back to you.
And I realize that I've spoken to you both individually about it, but I did want to make notice in a board meeting as well that the Peterson abatement appeal last week at Saginaw County has been continued to the month of March. There were some hiccups on scheduling that truthfully we are in the situation where we're in. Bill was ready and eager to have that hearing in March, but I did just want to advise that we still went forward with a site visit. We still went forward with a lot of the formalities, so the hearing will kick off at a much faster pace when we get there, but we're in kind of a holding pattern. So I just felt it important to point that out to him.
Okay, thank you, Tyler. Was that the one thing that you wanted to add?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so let's go to the fire chief, Chief Whalen. Thank you,
Good evening, guys. Can you hear me okay?
we sure can.
Great. Yeah, so quick update from me tonight. Just want to let you know that for 2025, we ended up with 148 calls for service for the town of Georgetown. That is quite a bit lower than we have in the last couple of years. And I think it's great. Glad that our services aren't being used too much. But I attribute that to mostly that we had no really big incidents or big storms or weather events throughout 25. So hopefully that continues through 26. So far, so
Not
good.
yet.
We managed to get through. Well, yeah, we got through the last couple days with no calls. So yeah, hopefully that continues through. And
Brian, how many of those were ambulance calls, please?
I don't have that number right in front of me right
Okay.
now,
No worries,
but
sorry.
I could. Yeah, it's usually about 75% of that is ambulance
That's what I
calls.
thought. Okay. Right. All right, thank
Roughly.
you.
Yep. So let's see. Sorry. We had our annual mandatory meeting early January, which we do every year to get our state mandated training out of the way. That was well attended. Um, we took on 5 new members for the department this year. A couple folks with really little experience who want to help out, and a couple folks that have some experience and are getting even more. We get 2 guys in the firefighter 1 and 2 class over in Topsom right now, and those same 2 are also EMT basics. So we'll get them trained up to get on the ambulance here pretty soon and get them in the rotation. So. Be nice to have some more folks, available for calls, but on the flip side, they're both kind of younger guys who, need to work full time and whatnot. So availability is still a little bit limited, but we'll take what we can get right now. So we welcome everyone to contribute what they can. So yes, we've got full roster. We're really struggling right now to scrounge up enough gear for these new guys. This is the biggest our roster's been in my time on the department. So not necessarily a bad thing to have. So we got that going right now. We are working on developing an RFP for possibly a new ambulance. Got a couple examples to look at, so we're kind of drawing up a spec list of things that we'd like to have, things that we have to have, that kind of thing, and getting that out. And request for proposal.
Oh,
We
okay.
draw up a list of requirements. We send that out to different manufacturers, different brands, things like that, different companies that build and sell ambulances, and find out what their cost would be to build the truck that we're looking for, kind of thing. So, we're working on that right now. Not sure on an exact timeline for that, but that's in the works right now. Like you guys were talking about earlier, we're into budget season. We've come up with a preliminary internal budget for the department last week, and next steps will be to sit down with, Terry and Mary, and get that polished up, and then sent over to the FAC, and we'll get that to them. Hopefully, we can get that to them before their meeting on the 10th. Pretty sure we can make that happen. So. Other than that, things are pretty much status quo. Like I said, we got through this weekend pretty well, despite all the snow, and yeah, looking really wintry out there right now. So, yeah, it's been a nice couple weeks. So, do you guys have any questions?
No,
Thank you,
I don't
Brian.
think so. Thank you for your service in 2025.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
You and the whole crew. All right. Great. All right, we're ready to move on to old business, and we have a familiar face.
Oh.
Mike Farina, why don't you come on down and give us an update on the working waterfront? Okay.
So, in a nutshell, the working group presented the board with basically a work product that provided all the critical information necessary to put together an ordinance that could be put in front of the planning board. Where we stand today is, I think, a decision needs to be made. Do we proceed forward in this regard with an ordinance, or do we decide not to? If we decide not to, why did we decide not to? Or there's other things that we would prefer to do. I have thought about the decision now. Where we're so close, perhaps we should shelve that decision until we have a full board.
Well, we're,
But that's just a thought I had.
sure. One thing that we talked about, I think, offline, not in a meeting, but, amongst those on the committee is that an informational meeting to talk about, because one of the things that happened during the presentation, were a couple of comments in the public comment about they didn't know what this would look like. And concerns about having this as an ordinance. And I think from the select board's perspective, it would be good to have those conversations at an informational meeting and not have it go down at town meeting when we're trying to decide if the ordinance should be passed.
So you know, I've sort of pushed back on this a little bit.
Yes, I do,
I am
so-
concerned about unintended consequences.
Yes, tell us about that.
If we're gonna do this, we need to understand clearly what's the objective of this meeting. What is it, what does success look like coming out of this meeting?
The informational meeting?
Yeah,
Okay,
what are
yeah.
the answers we're looking to get? So what would be the specific, measurable, actionable, and relevant goals that we would set for that meeting? Then we'd have to organize, I believe we should organize a very tight agenda, okay, to make sure that we have the best chance of achieving those goals. Having said all that, I'm still very much concerned about constituent representation. Because constituent representation could skew the results to the point where, okay, we had this informational meeting. Only one real contingency showed up,
Mhm.
we have their input. So now what we've done is we've placed ourselves, the board placed itself in a situation where, okay, they had the informational meeting, but all the information you got was only from one contingency.
You know, how I envisioned it, and I wanna hear from you, Katie, is what, the fire department did when they first talked about the billing, the EMS billing.
Mhm.
And what the GAHI did, the Georgetown Affordable Attainable Housing Initiative did, where it was just talking about it. So that's how I envisioned this informational meeting. Here's what the Working Waterfront Group is about. Here's why we think it's important. Here's what other towns are doing. Pat Perns would talk about that. You might talk about that. Marissa's familiar with that. Here's why we think it's important for our town. You know, are there any questions you have? Try to answer those questions. And my assumption is that you'll be able to answer the questions from the folks, but that doesn't kill the idea,
No,
and it doesn't guarantee it. But at least it gives people a chance who may not be able to make this meeting to ask the questions like, why do we need this? And maybe because they've never thought about it, your group will be able to tell them why and convince them why it's needed or not.
So it's more this, again, not to put words in anyone's mouth. but
Sure.
I want to understand. It sounds more like this is a socialization of an idea that we are thinking of putting forward. If we go forward with it, it would become an ordinance that we would then put in front of the town. Okay, and we're essentially socializing. Okay,
We're raising it for the first time, and there would have to be a public hearing anyway.
right.
So I guess my concern, and again, I want to hear from Katie, frankly, I don't think that that town meeting is the time for all of that to go down.
No, I understand, but that's
Okay.
what I'm saying. This sounds more like a socialization though, because I'm not sure what decisions we can make coming out of that meeting.
No
More
decisions would be made.
Right, so it's just more information, so we would present it as, we're socializing something here that we're thinking of moving forward with, okay? We're gonna share what we're doing, why we're doing it, okay? And we're gonna, you know, we're open for your comments and your thoughts, not saying it's gonna govern anything.
Right,
Not
that's
saying
right.
it's not.
That's right.
Right.
Just like, you know, what happened after the informational meeting, with the billing, you know, that there was a lot of discussion about that. It waited for a little while, now there's more discussion about it. But if we're looking at, an ordinance, we're on a tight time frame for that March timeframe. And so, or we shelve it. But I agree with you. We're not gonna make any decisions, the two of us. We wanna have a full board to deal with this, but there need to be a public hearing and have it on the warrant anyway,
Right.
if the goal is still to have an ordinance. Go ahead, Katie, I've said enough. I've talked too much.
I don't specifically remember the pushback from the informational meeting you gave us months ago. But I think that having this socialization of an idea, as you put it, could be a nice just back and forth between the idea and the community. And maybe it doesn't make any big decisions, but maybe it can just kind of influence the path forward.
I mean, I just don't think you can make a decision out of a socialization meeting, okay? Because you could end up with unintended consequences. That's the thing that I always get concerned about.
Mm.
Because the constituent could show up with a very well tight thought out agenda. Next thing we know, we have a processing plant at Indian Point.
Well, that person would be entitled, if they think there's no need for the waterfront for an ordinance, then they can say that.
Yeah. and
But their
still has to
neighbor
go
may
to-
think it's a great idea.
No, I understand.
So, I mean, it's just, what I don't want to happen, one of the comments was, where did this come from? How come I'm not hearing about it? How can you do this to us? And what we said, I think, whoever it was who said it, we're not doing anything. We're letting you know that this is happening, just like other ordinance changes.
No, I remember that
Okay, yeah.
at the affordable housing meeting. you
Yeah.
know, and again, I think there were some unintended consequences that came out of that meeting that
Sure.
weren't foreseen. So I'm just concerned, Tyler, you were.
Yeah, Tyler, go ahead.
The only thing I'd chime in too is I think checking in with the public periodically and having a good community session on this. I think, well, you could come in with some unintended consequences of, hey, we didn't think about the way this is coming across to people in this verbiage and so on. I just think you're more set up for success, as Ari has kind of said, if we start those conversations earlier with the people that ultimately at town meeting, if we go the route of an ordinance, we'll have a chance to have that vote. And you really don't want to have 100 people with an agenda show up at town meeting asking questions that we haven't thought ourselves around yet either. So I think socialization might be a great word for it, but I think checking in with the public, giving the public the ability to come in and say their piece. I know when you presented a couple of months ago, it was making sense to me where you were coming from. And I heard a member of the audience ask, does this mean they can put a boatyard in my front yard?
Right.
That's not what you were saying, but it was one of those questions that I would much rather, let's have that dialogue.
Right.
And if there's a way that we can word things a little bit better, great. Or, hey, let me put your mind at ease, and suddenly that person's on board. So I think the work you guys are doing is really important, but I think if we don't check in with the public, we very well could run into other unanticipated consequences too.
So I think that we've got to work hard to get the best constituent representation we
Yes.
can then. Because if this is an idea of socializing with the public, let's make sure that the public, as many of them and as diverse of an audience we can get possible, is there. Okay, so that's the thing that I'm most concerned about.
100%. We'll help you advertise it. I just, if you're gonna move forward on an ordinance, and that's what I understood when I've worked with the group.
Right.
Then, I'd like it not to fall apart at town meeting and have to be shelved because we have people complaining they didn't know what was happening.
So what I will do is I'll organize a meeting with the group again, okay? Ari, I think it's important that we have you at that meeting.
Absolutely.
And we're gonna, set the objective, set the agenda, and then figure out how we're gonna go forward, and then we'll try to find a date to do it.
Yeah, and have it, we can ask the Historical Society, Susan's online, we can follow up offline with her to see if we can use GHS like the fire department did and Gahi did.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then just advertise it, and then you'll have that opportunity, and if people don't show up, and obviously, we'll be able to record it, I think. So they could watch it later as well. But then, we will be able to reach as many people as possible.
So it's just a thought, and now I'm sort of thinking a little bit further ahead. Would we want to, after that meeting, have an open commentary period for folks, like maybe a 2-week open commentary period for people who could make the meeting or then hear about it and then watch the Zoom call or the YouTube or whatever it's gonna be, and then with the open commentary, would we, and as well as with the meeting, would we be obliged to kind of summarize that meeting and put out some sort of publication on the website so that everyone can see?
I think that would be great. More information's better. I think the board previously was kind of leaving it up to the Working Waterfront Work Group, how they wanted to present some of this socialization. But I think that's all very important data to come back with, because the more we understand where people are at, we can either assuage some of their concerns, educate them to why it shouldn't be a concern, or say, we can agree to disagree and this is still gonna go
I get
forward.
it, I get it, yeah, the group itself is kind of, I would say there's opinion on both sides of whether the socialization is appropriate. So, and so I'm reflecting somewhat on what I'm hearing from both sides.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Well, not just me personally.
So we'll talk about it at the meeting, but, if it's going to be, if it's going to go on the warrant for this year as an ordinance, you know, we have a tight time frame. But we can work with it.
I don't generally work very slowly, as you know.
I do know that, and y'all done a lot of great work, so I don't wanna lose the momentum.
Yeah, I know, I'll get something scheduled up for,
And we've got,
probably too late this week, but next week.
and we've got the tech that you can use for the Zoom to make it easier as well. And if you check the town calendar or email me, as long as it doesn't conflict with another committee that's already using the Zoom, we got you covered.
Yeah, my preference would be to do it early next week. I don't know what your schedule's like.
Yep, so, yep, just, we can look at my schedule and look at y'all's schedule, yeah.
Oh, so to tell you what to do. Where it's important for you to be there, let me know what your schedule is Monday, Tuesday.
Yep.
Um,
Monday or Tuesday.
yeah, and
Okay.
then I'll touch base with Tyler and the rest of the. Cool,
Okay, great, thank you so much, Mike.
thanks.
I know you've done a lot of-
Second.
We'll have,
Oh, okay, he's looking at the calendar, look at that,
So
fancy.
Monday, we are wide open all day at this stage. Tuesday, if it was before 6 p.m. or after rec was done, planning board at 7. I mean, you could use Angie won't need the Zoom for her training, so next week we've got a 6 p.m. and a 7 p.m. Other than that, you're wide open
for both Monday and Tuesday.
for Monday or Tuesday.
Got it, cool. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mike. I mean, one thing, you know, look at maybe 5 o'clock Monday, I don't know, something like that, but
That works for you?
works for me.
All right, let me check with everybody else.
And the nor'easter will have gone through by then.
Oh, gosh, okay,
Another?
We've got enough stuff for a little while. Although
Yes,
season's
we
been
do.
great.
all right.
Mhm.
I like your ski hat. Thank you again, Mike.
Yes.
All right. Keeping on, so we have as an agenda item, the ongoing discussion regarding the EMS billing. There's no action for tonight, but
There was no action. Ari and I discussed that we should probably be putting some of the items that we're not touching base on all the time,
Yeah,
still on old business to
Yeah,
help
we
keep
should.
track. So that is part of the reason we put this back on there.
great.
I can say town office is still working on gathering some good information, but this has not been the top of my pile, as there's been some other things going on with
Yeah,
the past few weeks.
Gert did reach out last week and he got in touch with the fire chief in Phippsburg. And, he was under the impression that Georgetown and Phippsburg were the last two stations in the state that weren't doing the billing. The fire chief over there said they've been doing it for 2 or 3 years.
oh,
They started it.
Yeah, so,
And I do think it wouldn't hurt us to ask the fire association, just in general, if they know of any that might be in the hinterlands, but
yeah,
in this neck of the woods, we're the outlier.
yeah.
okay.
Thank
Thank you.
We have an asterisk next to the working waterfront. Do we need a motion?
That was if we were gonna take a vote. If a vote was possible, it wasn't necessary, but we try to advise the public that if a vote might be coming to,
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to hold off till we have all three of us. And also, I think the informational meeting is important.
I do too.
Okay,
Well, it guides you,
Yeah,
for one,
right,
yeah,
it guides you.
yeah,
everybody
Either
needs a
it's,
little
this is
back-
gonna pass, or this is not gonna pass.
right.
And we don't wanna waste, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't mean to sound like that, but,
No,
but without it,
I know.
you're just out there,
Yeah,
Right.
you know?
Well, I mean, here's a good example with, short-term rentals. There was a survey, we got a lot of data came back,
right.
and so then y'all knew, okay, let's do something.
What
Let's
people
not do,
care about.
yeah, exactly, so.
Yeah.
There
I
was
ju-
some comments. I
Okay.
meant to tell you, there's a few in the chat though.
Okay, might
Oh,
get some different perspectives
thank
at
you,
a
Jen.
town gathering. So that was from David,
Great.
and that was about, when we were talking about the informational gathering, the socialization, okay,
and Jen got us the breakdown between Frederick and Savoy.
okay,
Those are the same
Okay.
numbers I
Yeah.
used.
okay.
Good.
All that matches up, all that tracks. On to new business. Tyler, back to you regarding,
Those are different numbers than I used. I'm sorry.
it's okay,
Can
Well,
you
it's
go
close
back to
enough.
Jen?
And
Does it matter?
I don't think it matters.
Okay,
if we worded the motion in a way that was specific to the numbers, but we said in the build amount, so we're both.
Right,
Oh,
in the total amount, yeah, whatever. All right, Tyler, let's have the update regarding candidates night, please.
Yep, so initially we were gonna slate to schedule candidates night, that's why we were anticipating a vote, but given the delay in the meeting, we decided to just bite the bullet, and so we are on February 10, our next select board meeting night, going to adjourn a little bit early, so we can decamp over to the gymnasium for candidates night. Nancy Kinner has agreed to be our moderator for candidates night, as we've done the last few years. We're super thankful. It'll be done in a hybrid capacity. Part of the reason I'm saying we need to adjourn no later than 6:45, because I need to get the owl
Yeah.
hooked up onto the Promethean board.
Okay.
But ideally, it'll, as many questions come in that folks have, it'll be an opportunity either online or in person to hear from the candidates about who they are, why they want to serve Georgetown, and what are they gonna do, depending on what the questions come up. So
Okay,
I'm excited, but it'll be a busy night.
it will
I
be.
feel like I was just at one of those.
Yes, in the gym. And Tyler was running around with the shorter cords, but
Oh, yeah.
we're ready.
Yes.
We're ready. All right, polling hours, we need to make a decision, about the length of, the polling that will occur, the
Mhm.
voting timeframes.
Mhm.
So effectively, because we are governed by town meeting form of government, our elections are technically a town meeting. It's our annual town meeting in June. This is a special town meeting.
Mhm.
And so we do need to post a warrant 7 to 10 days ahead of town meeting day of the 17th to let folks know, advise, and warn the inhabitants that they have an election upcoming. Bob Trevona has agreed to be the person posting. I share that background just on why we're doing it this way. State of Maine allows for when an election is just a municipal election, polls have to be open a minimum of 4 hours. And so in theory, the town could have a 4-hour election. I don't think that's in the best interest of us shortening it to that degree. In the same breath, I did touch base with Angie, and she's very comfortable with whatever direction that we pick. She did say that 8 to 8 might not be necessary. A 4 to 8 is definitely too short. I'm talking with Aria today. I think a 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. election day seemed to give folks the chance to still have a morning rush while not having polling workers sit there for what could be some significant lulls during that day.
Mhm. Yeah, 10 to 8 sounds good with me.
Okay, would you
Yeah,
like to,
I
I'll
would
entertain a
go
motion.
10 or 12,
Okay,
not 8 to 8.
Yeah.
Yes, I move,
I do the 10 as well.
you do.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought so. I move to
Set the polling hours for,
set the polling hours from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., February 17th,
all
for
right,
the special town meeting.
I'll second that motion.
all right, all in favor? And I have.
Sorry.
Katie and Aria,
Yeah.
both in favor. I would also ask that we have a motion to approve the warrant, which I did ahead of time, recognizing that we're not gonna be posting this until the day before candidates night, so we're in compliance with the 7 to 10 days. It can't be significantly early because folks might miss out and plan something else, so.
So you need a motion to approve the warrant as
Yeah.
drafted. Including the new hours,
Yeah.
10 to 8.
I move to approve the warrant as drafted, including the hours 10 to 8.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Thank you. Katie and Aria are unanimous. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, and Tyler, when is the grant writing and funding class?
It is going to be on the 19th, so it'll be after the election by a couple of days, and I think that's a good bang for our buck opportunity for the town. I'm looking forward to learn what I can in that class and refresh a little bit.
Okay, I'll-
Okay, I move to approve the town clerk to attend the grant writing and funding class.
the town
Administrator.
administrator.
Town administrator.
Yes, I'll
Hey.
second the motion to approve town administrator attending the grant writing and funding class.
All those in favor? Katie and Aria are in favor. Thank you very much.
And there's a chalkboard in our way.
Yeah, so as we've talked about a few times now offline, we feel that moving the conference room TV to where the chalkboard presently is would allow for more meeting space. Really, the planning board's table discussions really helped us think that we can look at the room a little bit better. I am asking that if we get to a point of a motion to authorize the removal of the chalkboard and any necessary repairs, I'd say up to $1,000, recognizing that paint and caulking is gonna come in significantly less. Mr. Ianta at the school has said he'd be willing to help us take this off. He has
So
some
good.
very good experience, and his experience with the school is there could be 1 or 2 spots that need some patching. And he also said he would help us mount the TV because he's seen that your town administrator struggles with some of those things. But without changing the blueprint to the office or taking things
Yeah.
physically off the wall, we wanted select board approval.
Yeah.
Okay. And is there anywhere that the chalkboard could go?
I think Tyler's taking it home with him.
No,
No.
chalkboard TBD at this stage. That's
Okay.
kind of a next step.
Okay.
You want it, Mary?
I don't want it, but I don't know if we'll be able to get it off in one piece.
I know,
Oh,
Right?
It'll break.
Sledgehammer.
I don't
Right.
know.
There.
It's been up there forever and ever, amen,
It-
right?
Yeah, a little brittle.
Yeah.
And I will say, just not to invoke Bromwin, but she was always very much a fan of having the TV on this wall.
Oh, yeah.
And I wish
Okay.
that she had raised the idea of taking the chalkboard off because there was nowhere for it with the chalkboard. So this is moving us forward.
Yeah, and we used to use that chalkboard all the time,
Yeah,
but we don't anymore.
right.
You know what I mean? We
Right.
don't get up and we don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting.
you know,
Yeah,
yeah,
That's,
things change.
yeah,
with email and with, all that.
Yeah.
You got your calculator right here, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you don't have to use it like we used to.
The chalk that's there in purple was put up by me 2.5 years ago.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Well,
I mean, the
Okay,
transfer
yeah.
station already has one, but,
Right?
yeah,
Right.
all right.
maybe the school could use it.
Yeah, that's what I thought, old school.
Yeah.
I know that they've been removing theirs, I think, as they've been putting in the Promethean boards. So.
Interesting.
Yeah, that nobody wants our little chalkboard.
I'll ask Philip, maybe the Institute could use
Hey.
it.
That's true, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking, maybe a local daycare or people who
Yeah.
homeschool.
Right,
Right.
right.
Okay, but,
Right.
yeah. All right, so I'll
That would
entertain
be
a
a good thing.
motion.
If anybody wants it, get in touch with Tyler, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Please get that in your minutes.
Yeah.
Amen.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay, I move to approve the removal of the chalkboard.
I second the removal and the expenditure up to $1,000.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aria and Katie is unanimous.
Yes. And we already took, item. Yeah,
Date.
yeah,
The
so
scheduled appointment.
their scheduled appointment took care of that, with a notation that once we have the election over and we're able to spend and get past budget season, then we'll take a look at, a more formal arrangement with the school for the use of this building.
Right.
And just what I'd chime in on that process when we get there eventually, I know both candidates for select board are listening in, so we'll get to that stage. I think it would make sense that my experience with some of the MOUs earlier on in my arrival was that without having designated point people doing the talking, it kind of led things to
Oh,
move in
yes,
a circular direction, so I hope we could have a school committee member, a select board member, and maybe the principal and myself or Mary or whatever staff member, so we can get a good document that
Mhm.
doesn't do some of the back and forth that we've seen with some of the others.
I agree.
Sure, yeah.
All right. And, let's see, do we have any items for signature other than the warrant?
And the abatement.
And the abatement, thank you. We'll take care of those. Now we're back to public comment. Do we have, and we've lost our public from the town office side of things. And so do we have any out, participating virtually with a public comment? All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. We have no executive session tonight, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn at 7:21.
Okay, I'll second that. All those in favor?
Unanimous.
Again, thank you all, and we'll see you on February 10. Be certain to keep an eye on the town's website for updated information. Thank you.